Um, did you ever in your life, when you were growing up, I can remember being really young and thinking, is this it? Is this all there is? What is the meaning of life? And as I got older, I would look in the mirror all the time. And I remember going into the bathroom and looking in the mirror and going, who are you? What is your purpose? What is the meaning here? So I thought, well, when I get older, I'm going to know the meaning. I'm going to know the purpose, because it's like, okay, the meaning is to get married. The meaning is to have kids. And even through all of that, I was still looking for something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I had a void inside of me because it was like nothing. I couldn't find anything to fill it. And believe me, I tried. I tried everything. I tried drugs. I tried alcohol. I tried cigarettes. Alcohol was my go-to because it would numb. It would just numb the pain that you didn't have to feel anything. And I think that was another thing, it's like, because when I would feel, there was an emptiness. There was such an emptiness, it seemed like, in my life. Anyway, and this went on into my 40s, until finally alcohol had totally taken control of my life. I was married. I had 2 kids. I was going on 40 years old, and I found myself pregnant, that I wasn't going to have this child. I ended up having an abortion. It was just after that, my alcohol spiraled. It got worse and worse and worse, that I would drink and black out all the time. It wasn't long after that I was in the process of divorce, and I drank every single day for a year. I was working 2 jobs, and I drank until I got drunk and passed out every night. And I would get up. I didn't miss work. I would get up. I would go to work. And it was like, what in the world am I doing? But even still, I did that. I continued because I couldn't find the answer. I couldn't find anything to fill up that void. Fast forward, within a couple of years, I met this guy that had a bigger drinking problem than I did. So I thought, if I get with him, nobody's going to really see my problem, which is true. It's true. That's why I got with him. And it was during that time that he ended up getting a 5th drunk driving, because he really had an alcohol problem. I didn't have an alcohol problem, but he did. Anyway, so he got a 5th drunk driving, and in order for him to stay out of prison, he had to do certain things. One of the things that he had to do was go to alcohol counseling type of thing. And it was during that time that he had to go to AA. So in the process of this, it was like he couldn't drive anymore, of course, if drunk driving. So me being the wonderful girlfriend that I am, I took him to these AA meetings. And it was during that time, first of all, I found out that I had an alcohol problem, which I never knew I did have. But I found out that I had an alcohol problem, and I also found out that I was powerless. And I think that was something that I knew my whole life, that I was powerless, but it was like, it was named. Then I knew what it was. It's like, I'm powerless. I can't do this. And they told me that, but you can't do it, but God can. And I thought, well, that's a novel idea, because I had heard about this God through my parents, my brothers, my sisters. Everybody was telling me all about this God, that could do all this stuff. And so anyway, I started exploring that more. I read a book, and it just sparked something in me. And I started reading the Bible, and I started going to church. And it was within that year, I remember finally going, I can't do this anymore, and surrendering to God. And I'm telling you, it was like waves washed over me. It was like a cleansing that I have never felt in my life. A peace came over me that I have never known. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was filled. I was finally filled, and I finally could see purpose in my life, because I found out, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a druggie. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad kid. I'm not a bad wife. I'm not, it's like those things used to define me that I didn't care. And that's why I would try to take alcohol and drugs and sex and whatever it was, just to fill up that emptiness. And once I opened my heart, opened my soul to God, and he was like standing there. I always think about it as he was like standing there going, "It's about time. Come on in." You know, his arms wide open, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I have never felt that kind of peace in my life. And since that day, which is now, I think, about 10 years, it hasn't been really that long. It's like about 10 years, but it's like I have found in my life that when life starts coming in at you, and you start getting overwhelmed with stuff, that you can still have that peace, which is amazing. It's amazing that you can actually have that. And no matter what you're going through, it's like he can take care of it all, and he can give you that peace no matter what. So I would just say, if you have a void inside of you, and if you have felt like your whole life you have been looking and looking and looking and looking for something, there's someone waiting for you too. And he's waiting there behind that door going, "It's about time." There you go.
Amen.